Hello, my name is Dr. Clare Willocks. I'm a clinical practitioner in the Eden method. I'm a level 1 fundamentals teacher and I'm a healthcare practitioner. I'm an OB-GYN, or for us in the UK, an obstetrician and gynecologist. And I work in the maternity unit at the University Hospital of Wishaw in Scotland. Inner Source are offering you this series of lockdown savers, and we're so grateful to all the essential workers at this time that they're able to provide you the food, they're stocking the shelves, and they're sending all that you need to keep yourselves safe at this lockdown time. But we as healthcare providers have specific needs and challenges at this time. We are highly trained and we are used to delivering a high quality and evidence-based service with care and compassion. You may say that the rug has been pulled out from under our feet at the moment. We're dealing with multiple unknowns, it's very unpredictable, and things are changing on a day-to-day basis. We can feel quite overwhelmed with this, and as the world is in a fight and flight reaction, it's difficult for us not to pick up on that fear. So what do we do about it? Well, the Eden method can come to help because it can help us have simple tools and find the ways to look after ourselves in this stressful and challenging time. We use very simple tools, and these tools are our hands. Can it be any more simple than that? Our hands have electromagnetic properties and they can help rebalance our energies. So we know that when we get stressed, everything goes up into our head. And as they say, our mind has a mind of its own. As healthcare practitioners, we're human beings. We're with you in the lockdown. When we're not at work, we're in lockdown too. And we may be worried about our friends, our families, and our loved ones. We may have elderly relatives. We may have somebody in the intensive care unit. We may even have lost a loved one. And how can we keep present then with the stress that's in front of us? One thing I'm going to do just now is I'm going to breathe. We know the simple tools and the pillars of lifestyle medicine. These are that we need to take adequate rest, that we need to eat well, that we need to sleep, and that we need to nourish ourselves. It's so important that we adhere to these because our body has a very natural way of balancing ourselves without us having to do anything else. So let's breathe. The Eden method teaches us the principles of energy medicine. And we remind ourselves, what is energy? Well, energy is a vital, living force that determines much about our health and our vitality. That's great. And we can feel the energy just now, and the energy doesn't feel that it was full of health and vitality. We can pick up on the fear. The fear is thick in the environment. Energy needs to move. And if energy doesn't move, if our lungs don't pulsate and pump the oxygen, if our heart's not pumping the blood, if our cells aren't moving, then there's not much life about us. Energy needs space to move. If we're cramped up and tight and stressed out, we're not in a state of thriving. We need to get oxygen to our cells. Energy likes to move in specific patterns. And one of these patterns is so vital to our health and well-being, and it's the figure of 8. Every single little cell has our helix, a double helix of DNA, and that is our blueprint of health and wellness. We see figure of 8s out in nature, and our bodies reflect that template. We have a figure of 8 from a large figure of 8 from the right side of our body, to the right side of our brain to the left side of our body, and from the left side of our brain to the right side of our body. And it's really important we get that cohesion. Our left brain is very, very active just now. We're thinking lots, we've got lots and lots of facts and figures and trying to take in new information every single day. Our right brain is creative, and I'm hearing wonderful stories about what people are doing in lockdown, having the creative fun and just not actually beginning to realise their actual potential. I think this is without upsetting anybody, I think this is a really exciting time. It's full of, yes, there's lots of fear in the environment, but also it's a time of opportunity. It's a time for us not to look back in the past and think what happened. We can do that later, but actually to come to the fore ourselves and to really think of the solutions. But our left brain and our right brain can't work independently of each other. They need to connect with each other. And this connection is so important just now. This is what Inner Source are doing, offering you a lockdown saver, that so we can connect with each other, we can connect with ourselves, and we can connect with the environment that's so difficult to get out to. So I'm going to start with a couple of little exercises that can help us feel grounded, help us feel more supported and connected when we are doing a vital support for the community. So to ground, the first thing that we can do is just settle ourselves, be aware of all the thoughts and everything going on in our minds, and breathe. Take a nice big deep breath in and out. And again in and out. Even as I'm doing that, I'm feeling myself settle, that things are coming down from my head and dropping down into the body. Now I'm going to bring my hands up over my head and bring down the center of my body, encouraging these thoughts to drop down, to bring myself back from the outer environment and settle within myself. We'll do that once more. Take a big deep breath in and come down. We can even take some windscreen wipers and wipe out all these unhelpful thoughts and all that monkey mind. Just clearing all that debris. And then bringing in these figure of 8s before we zip it up. Zip up again at the center, up over our face, and round down the outside of our body. It's vital that we have support at this time and that we feel supported and we tap into our inner supports. So I'm going to turn round and I'm going to come up the back of my body, reach over and over the back of my head, the top of my head, down my face, and zip up. So that's what I have done, is I've come up my central meridian and my governing meridian. And they form what is called a microcosmic orbit as they circle around us, constantly giving us support and vitality. So back to grounding. Now we feel ourselves, we're more aware of our breath. I can go on with my day and not being aware of my breathing. I'm so focused on the doing. So we're back to ourselves. Let us bring some attention to our feet. and under the soles of our feet. There's a very important point just underneath the big toe, between the big toe and the second toe, and it's called K1, which is the beginning point of our kidney meridian. And in Chinese medicine, they call it the wellspring of life. So just check into that point. And imagine from that point, there are roots going down below our feet, down below the, I was going to say the ceiling, down below the thing that's under the floor, that's what it's called. Down below the floor and then deep down into the earth. These roots nourish us as they reach down into the earth. And then imagine these roots are tapping into a wellspring of life. You may see it like a laser beam of light, a laser beam of energy that's going to travel up. It may shoot up the roots, it may wander up the roots, whichever suits you best. But feel that laser beam of light coming up through these roots, up through that point at the bottom of our feet, the K1 point. Up the bottom of our legs. May feel that energy swirling round the bottom of our legs, coming up to our thighs. We remember and breathe. That energy comes up to our pelvis, then to our lower abdomen, and we breathe. And then comes up to our upper abdomen, and we breathe, and we smile. If you've imagined a laser beam of light, you now imagine it coming out from the upper abdomen to about an arm's breadth in front of us. And I'm imagining taking a post from the earth and planting it right in front of me. Putting that in front of me here. I'm putting another one behind me. Then I'm taking another one, I'm putting it here. And another one here. You may decide to make it bigger or smaller. You may just feel that you want the post to be here. And we're going to create either a tent, if you have children and they are in that creative space, or a temple, if you would like, or some other amazing structure. You could choose the Taj Mahal, and that was dedicated to mothers in childbirth. Or you can just choose a bubble, a nice big bubble of energy. And you can choose what comes into that bubble, and you can choose what to send out of it. So things, unhelpful thoughts, are just going to be bounced away. You're going to come there and you feel that you are protected by that bubble. And that bubble is called our biofield, or you may know it as our aura. And that is a sense of protection. And we need that so much at this time. Nothing can come in that we don't want. And we don't need to send anything out. Because it's really important that we protect our energy, that we call anything back to ourselves, because we need all of our energy and all of our power right now. Finally, you can choose to see if you want to bring a colour into this bubble, any colour that you'd like, and the colour might change. And just feel that sense of protection around you. So hopefully now we're feeling a little bit more grounded. We have brought the energy down. We have connected with our feet. We've connected with the bottom of our feet, and they've sent roots right down into the earth. We've brought energy up from the earth, up to our upper abdomen, and we've sent it out into our biofield, which is now protecting us. We can then bring the energy from the upper abdomen up, right out the top of our heads. And we're filling that biofield with more protective energy. And we breathe and we smile. And at this point, we may feel a little bit more safety, a little bit more calm, and a little bit more connection. I would now like to take you through some steps of the daily energy routine. I said to you earlier on that energy likes to move, and that it needs space to move. And it moves in specific patterns, specifically figure of eights. All of our body's energies are interconnected, and our energy is affected by people and the environment. And we've now got this lovely bubble around ourselves. Our energy adapts to circumstances, and we need to look after ourselves at this time of fight, flight, and survival. But what the Eden method does is it takes us beyond fight, flight, and survival and allows us to thrive. So, because I'm here in the work environment, one of the things we normally start with is the stomach tap. And I'm trying to be mindful. I'm changing my habits. That's one of the things, is that energy can form habits and we can repattern them. So at the moment, when I'm at work, I'm not tapping on my cheekbones, but we have been bringing the stomach energy down to help ground ourselves. But what I will start with is our K27s. Now, I talked about the K1. They're at the bottom of the feet. That's the beginning of the kidney meridian. So our K27s are the end of the kidney meridian. Now you'll find them, if you find your collarbone, it's an inch below and an inch out. That might be a little bit tender. You may not feel anything at all. And both signs are signs that they need to be worked upon. So I'm going to tap here. And I'm going to breathe. And I'm going to smile. I'm sending that kidney energy up. I'm going to breathe and smile. And what this kidney energy does is it helps our energy to move. It helps us move beyond that feeling of fear and gives us courage to step forward. We breathe and we smile. So the second of the 3 thumps, or the third of the 4 thumps, is called the Thymus tap. And I'm going to just tap here on my sternum. And those of you who have children may like to do it as a Tarzan thump. We see animals in nature all doing this as they help protect themselves, and it helps improve their immunity. You may also like to do it as a heartbeat. Or a waltz. Whatever floats your boat. I think this is the time for us all to find what the tools are that help ourselves. Because although we're all in this together, we all have our different responses. The last of the 4 thumps, or the 3 thumps that I was showing you today, is a spleen pump. So we take our palm underneath our armpits and we tap here. And we see a spleen as a spleen and the pancreas system. And this helps metabolize our thoughts, metabolize our environment, metabolize any of the, what am I going to metabolize just now? I'm going to metabolize some worry, some anxiety about what I'm going to say. So it helps transform anything that's unhelpful to us. I'm going to come round here underneath my bra strap to another spleen point here called a neurolymphatic. It's so important that we work these points because they help manage our fight-flight reaction. The next thing I'm going to do is bring in some more crossovers. And one of the things that I do when I'm under tension when I'm under stress is I hold a lot of tension in my body. And remember I said energy needs to move and it also needs to cross over. So I'm going to take my left hand to my right shoulder and give it a little massage. And I'm going to breathe and smile. I'm going to bring it down to my left hip. I'm going to bring my right hand to my left shoulder. Remember these crossovers. Let's give it a nice massage. And that already feels a lot better. Crossover again. And again. And for those of you that are feeling a little bit more active, we can do a cross crawl. I'm lifting my left leg up and my right leg up and bringing my opposite arm. My next exercise is called the Wayne Cook, or you may like to know it as a neurological cohesion pose, but that's rather a mouthful to me. We bring our right hands over our left hands. We clasp our fingers together, our hands down and fold them up. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to ask you to imagine that I'm crossing my feet. I am crossing my feet just now. We cross our feet and we breathe. Breathe in again. And out. Again a third time. And out. We uncross our hands. We cross them the other way. And we uncross our feet. And we cross them the other way. And we breathe. And we smile. And we breathe. And we smile. I said to you earlier on I wasn't touching my face here. The next part is we can touch the bridge of our nose. And that's the beginning point of the bladder meridian. And I call this waiting for the kettle to boil. Because whenever I'm at work and I'm sneaking in for a little cup of tea, I do this pose to just help remind myself, to bring myself, to clear my thoughts, to bring myself back to the here and now. And breathe. Next exercise is incredibly helpful for us working in healthcare. It's called the Kraang Pool. I'm saying that because I find it incredibly helpful for myself, but there's so much information just now about guidelines and PPE and what to do one day and what to do the next day, and stress, that there's an awful lot of energy that gets stuck in our head. So we're going to bring our fingers to our forehead. We're going to press in and pull apart. Shake it off. Press in and pull apart and shake it off. Press in and pull apart. Now we can give ourselves a nice head massage by really pressing in and pulling apart. Normally, when I'm at work, my hair is tied back. I knew it would be rather difficult to do this for this exercise. Very important to come to the neck, push in and pull apart. Because we're making space for energy to move. And finally, we can hang on our shoulders. Breathe and smile. It's important that we bring space to the body, because when we don't, I said earlier on, things, we get a little bit constricted. So this exercise is called Connecting Heaven and Earth. We rub our hands. So these are our greatest tools just now. You'll feel the heat, and heat is energy. We shake them off. We put our hands on our thighs. We bring our hands up above us and then down to the center of our chest. We stretch up, we flatten our hands, and we have our lower hands flat as well. And we breathe, and we smile. We breathe, we smile. We change our hands over. And then I'm going to stretch down to my feet. I'm going to hold on either side of my feet. Take a couple of breaths. And out. And then roll that energy up. The Connecting Heaven and Earth exercise helps bring space to the body. It helps loosen our joints. It helps give us more flexibility, and it actually even helps us sleep better. It's a great exercise for insomnia. So we're coming to the end of the exercises of the daily routine, and I'm going to now do an exercise that helps protect our biofield even more. We've still got this bubble, our tent or our temple around us, and we're going to fill it with lots of figure of eights, because as I said, they are template of health. I'm going to rub these tools again together. I've washed my hands several times, but this gives extra power for this time. I rub our hands and shake them off. I rub them again. I put my hands to my ears. You may feel some tingling between your hands. You may feel some heat. You may not feel anything. But the more you do this, the more we work with ourselves, the more sensitive we become to energy. We bring our elbows in together. We cross our hands. We open and we cross. And we open and we cross. We open and we cross. Imagine this is like a flower opening itself up and closing down. Opening up and closing down. Finally, we bring our palms forward and back and up over our head and shower ourselves with either sparkles or colour or anything that you'd like to bring into that biofield. Giving ourselves some nice figure of eights. You can give other people figure of eights too. This is not just about our self-protection, but it's very, very important that we protect ourselves so we're able to look after each other. And I'm just going to show you two other exercises. We started off at the beginning with the central and the governing meridian. And now I'm going to hook them up. So I'm going to put 2 fingers into my belly button and 2 fingers up my forehead. As I say, I'm not touching this part of my face, but I'm fine to touch here. And we push in and we pull up and we breathe. And again, we breathe. Our last exercise in this routine is called the zip up. Starting at my pubic bone, coming up the centre of my body and up over my head. I'm going to do it again, second time. Up. Third time. Up. The fourth time, I'm going to imagine I've got a key. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to throw that key away. So I hope you enjoyed these simple exercises. I made another little routine which I thought would be particularly helpful for those working on the front line, and that's going to help to balance the different rhythms in our body. So I mentioned earlier on about the kidney meridian that was underneath our big toe, and that reached up to, on the body, up to our collarbones, from K1 to K27. The kidney meridian, as I said, helps move energy in the body. I'm going to come down to underneath my big toe. I'm just going to stretch down and hold underneath it. And I'm going to bring my hands up the center of my legs, up the front of my body, and tap here in the K27s. And tell myself I step forward in courage. And I breathe. And I smile. And our kidney meridian actually travels up further. This is just where it reaches the surface of the skin. I'm going to come up round the front of my face, not touching my face. I'm going to breathe and smile. And breathe and smile. And then I'm going to give some figure of eights with my eyes, remembering that left-right brain integration. If you remember the exercise waiting for the kettle to boil, that's having our thumbs here, the bridge of our nose, and steepling up our fingers. And we breathe. And we smile. And we breathe. And we smile. And I'm now going to bring my hands up over my head, down the back of my body, round under my buttocks, back up, and then down. And I'm going to carry on going down the back of my legs to reach the bottom of my feet. And I'm going to come out the outside of my legs and swoosh off the baby toe. I can't show you this, I'm afraid, with the way that I've set up the video, but I'll just show you this again. So we start off from here, we come up over our heads, we come down our back to our buttocks, round our buttocks, and back down. And then we carry on down the back of our legs and off the baby toe. So you can repeat that exercise from the kidney, the bottom of our big toe, and up the front of our chest, our legs, front of our chest, tapping here, breathing. Bring our hands up to here, and as we step forward in courage, we bring some figure of eights over our eyes. And then our thumbs at the bridge of our nose. We breathe and smile. We bring our hands over the top of our head, back down our back, round our buttocks, down our legs, and off the big toe. The next exercise I'm going to do is help balance our liver meridian. And our liver, as we know, is an organ that does an awful lot of work. I'm going to come down to my big toe, and I'm going to come up the center of my body to just underneath my rib cage. And tell myself, I'm kind to myself. I start back at my big toe, come up the center of my body, just to the inside actually of your legs, and under my ribs, and tell myself, I'm kind to myself. And then, to be kind to ourselves, we actually have to let go of the things that don't serve us. We're going to help balance our gallbladder meridian. We take our hands out in front of ourselves. We hold all that stress and that tension. And we take it all into our fists. We bring our hands down and up and let it go to the earth. Again, we bring our hands in front of us. Bring our hands down, up, and let it go to the earth. The next exercise I'm going to offer you is to help balance our rhythm of fire. We're going to put our hands, as we did for the Kraang Pool, and we're going to bring them across, up over our ears, down the back of our ears, to our heart. And say, I am safe and I am protected. Bring our hands up our forehead, across our forehead, up over our ears, down the back of our ears, to our heart. I am safe and protected. The next one, I make good decisions. I make good decisions. Trusting the decisions that we make at this time are the best that we can make. We're now going to give ourselves a little hug. And we breathe. And we smile. And we breathe. And we smile. We're going to massage down the inside of our arm. I can find this quite painful at times. This is our heart meridian. And come off the inside of our little finger. Come down from our armpits, down the inside of our arm, and off the little finger. You see, I take excellent care of my heart. Then come up from the middle finger, and I actually, when I'm coming down here, say, I love myself deeply and completely. And then when we come up, it's I take excellent care of my heart. I love myself deeply and completely. I take excellent care of my heart. The other side, I love myself deeply and completely. I take excellent care of my heart. The next rhythm that we balance is our earth rhythm. And as our earth rhythm is how we nurture ourselves. So I'm going to take ourselves as if we're a little baby. Say, I nurture myself with love. I nurture myself with love. And I have strong boundaries. I'm safe and I'm protected. I nurture myself with love. And I am safe and protected. The final rhythm that we're going to balance here is the metal rhythm. And this is very, very important just now because it's dealing with our lung and our large intestine. And there are lung points here in between our ribs. They're called neurolymphatic points. And just find the space in between your ribs and Give them a nice, good rub. You can take your fists if you want and just give a nice, good rub there. You can rake across. You can find the individual points. And breathe. And smile. And breathe. And smile. The final exercise is helping to balance the lung and the large intestine. And we take our hands over to the beginning of the lung meridian. As I let go of grief, I let go of fear and any guilt. I let go of grief. I let go of fear and any guilt. And I live fully in the now. I let go of any grief. I let go of any fear or any guilt. And I live fully in the now. So I hope these exercises have been helpful. It's a very challenging time for all of us. I think it's especially a challenging time for those of us that are on the front line. We're so grateful to everybody for honouring the lockdown. We're so grateful for all the other essential workers. And I just ask that we all step forward in peace and love and compassion. And we give each other lots of hearts and lots of love as we will all get through this together. If you'd like to learn more about the Eden methods, please click on the link below, which is freeclass.edenmethod.com. Thank you very much.